In the vast theater of modern military aviation, few confrontations have stirred imaginations quite like the one between America's F-35 Lightning II and Russia's Su-75 Checkmate. One is real, combat-proven, and mass-produced. The other exists more in renderings than in reality, flaunted on airshow stages and global defense expos with swagger and smoke, but never smoke trails. Yet, for years, analysts, strategists, and defense enthusiasts salivated over the possibility of a head-to-head clash, a new Top Gun for the stealth generation. But the fight never happened. What began as a stealth showdown between East and West turned into a study of ambition, delay, and geopolitical misdirection. This is the story of how the F-35 rose to rule the skies, while the Su-75 became one of military aviation's most ambitious unfulfilled promises. Before we enter the jet stream of deception, development, and defense dominance, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated on the future of flight, warfare, and the world's most elite machines. The arrival of a phantom, Su-75's big debut. It was July 2021 at the MAKS Air Show outside Moscow, when Russia pulled the cover off a fighter jet that was supposed to be its answer to Western air superiority. The Su-75 Checkmate emerged with bold claims: stealth capabilities, supercruise speed, advanced radar, low cost, and a modular design that could supposedly outperform even the best of NATO's airframes. It wasn't just a jet. It was a message. Russia wanted the world to know that it was still in the stealth game. The Su-75 was touted as a fifth-generation fighter built for the modern battlefield. Highly maneuverable, low observable, multi-role capable, and above all, affordable for international customers. But what made headlines was not the performance, it was the lack of it. The jet presented to the world wasn't operational. It wasn't even flight tested. It was a mock-up. A sleek shell with staged lighting and choreographed presentation. And while it dazzled with marketing, it couldn't yet fly. Still, the Checkmate buzzed across global defense media as if it were about to be deployed to Syria the next morning. The anticipation of a direct competitor to the F-35 sparked endless speculation. Would it offer better stealth? Would it be faster? Would it bring back dogfighting dominance? As time ticked forward, one side advanced. The other stayed grounded. The F-35's relentless rise. Meanwhile, Lockheed Martin's F-35 Lightning II was doing the exact opposite. It was flying everywhere. By 2023, over 900 F-35s were operational across multiple countries, flying missions, training drills, and actual combat sorties. The F-35 wasn't theoretical. It was operational doctrine. Equipped with unparalleled stealth design, advanced sensors, electronic warfare systems, and a suite of networked capabilities, the F-35 became the most dominant multi-role stealth fighter ever fielded. Its mission wasn't just air superiority but integrated battlefield dominance, linking air, land, sea, and space in real time. While critics targeted its early delays and bloated budget, the F-35 matured. Nations lined up to join the program. Israel, Japan, the UK, South Korea, and several NATO allies fielded F-35 squadrons. Combat data started pouring in from real-world operations. The aircraft wasn't just performing, it was rewriting how wars would be fought. It became more than a jet. It became a force multiplier. And as its upgrades rolled out, including Block 4 enhancements and cloud-integrated warfare systems, the gap between the F-35 and its imagined adversaries only grew wider. The Checkmate's fading shadow. Back in Russia, the Su-75 timeline began to blur. First flights were delayed from 2023 to 2024, then hinted at 2025 or later. Sanctions following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 crippled access to foreign components, disrupted supply chains, and tightened defense budgets. Promised foreign buyers vanished. Potential deals with the UAE, India, and African nations never materialized. Without foreign investment, the cost-effective fighter became cost-prohibitive for Russia's already stretched defense industry. Despite bold announcements, only one full-scale demonstrator was ever built, and it still hadn't flown. The Su-75 was caught in a vortex of geopolitical isolation and logistical frustration. It remained a prototype in limbo, a symbol of potential stifled by politics, procurement, and propaganda. By 2025, the Checkmate was no longer being compared to the F-35 in serious military discussions. It had instead become a cautionary tale of what happens when ambition outruns capability. The phantom showdown that fueled misinformation. Despite the grounded reality of the Su-75, comparisons to the F-35 flooded media channels and online war forums. It made for good headlines. The David versus Goliath narrative. The cheap, agile Russian stealth jet going toe-to-toe with America's trillion-dollar air power juggernaut. But what people failed to recognize was that the two jets weren't even in the same class. The F-35 had a full logistics chain, global support infrastructure, battlefield integration, and combat-proven record. The Su-75 didn't have an engine ready for production. Still, Russian state media pushed the narrative hard. Videos, animations, and interviews painted the Su-75 as the future of warfare. It was shown dogfighting F-35s, targeting American aircraft carriers, and operating deep in contested airspace. All of it hypothetical, none of it real. But in the digital age, perception often blurs with reality. And while the Su-75 didn't fly, it still flew across minds as a potential challenger, echoing Cold War-style fears and sparking renewed investment in Western air defense programs. Why the Checkmate could still matter. Despite its failure to take off, literally and metaphorically, the Su-75 story isn't entirely over. If Russia manages to overcome its supply challenges, secure funding, and scale production, the Checkmate could eventually emerge as a budget stealth option for developing nations. Its theoretical appeal is undeniable. A single-engine stealth fighter that's cheaper than the F-35, easier to maintain than twin-engine heavyweights like the Su-57, and capable of carrying next-gen weapons. If it ever materializes as promised, it could still shake the export market and influence regional balances in places like the Middle East, South Asia, and Africa. The Checkmate's modular design could also inspire future aircraft development, even outside Russia. If nothing else, it stands as a conceptual rival that pressured Western defense industries to maintain pace and innovation. It's the ghost that kept engineers sweating, even if it never roared into afterburner. Bell, if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of military aviation's most anticipated but unrealized rivalries, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more breakdowns of the battles, tech, and stories shaping the 21st century battlefield. Comment below. Do you think the Su-75 will ever fly? Or was it checkmated before it left the ground? Thanks for flying with us. The sky is no longer the limit. It's the arena.